Now there's nothing like the ride of a Lincoln Town Car. Unfortunately, this engine's running rough and the check engine light's on. Today on Tech Garage, we're going to address those issues so you can keep your car running smooth. Now Brian's waiting at the shop, so let's get this one in. Welcome to Tech Garage presented by Advance Auto Parts. You know, a lot of common problems are associated with either spark or fuel. Today we're going to look at ignition systems, and we're also going to look at a fuel system. And we're going to start right here with the Lincoln Town Car.
The famous 4.6 liter Ford motor, John, that's a common one. That thing's used in F-150s, Mustangs, Crown Vics, Lincoln Town Cars. And I think since 1998, the 4.6 and the 5.4 are all candidates for misfires or running rough.
Brian, it really only takes three things for a car to run: spark, fuel, and compression. We'll go ahead and dive into this one and fix it, but you know, later we're also going to look at a Jeep Wrangler and the fuel system.
Let's get this thing fixed. I'm going to start scanning.
Well, while you do that, come on over here and I'll show you how to run these tests on the trainer. Well, we're ready to run our diagnostic test, our power balance test, right on our trainers. But before we do that, a quick review on ignition systems. Now, we all remember the old contact breaker points. They spin around, and what's happening is the points are actually open and closing that primary circuit, inducing a voltage into the coil, and making that big spark. Now, I grew up mostly with fuel injection, but you know, Brian showed me how to set these points with a dollar bill. From that, we went to a distributor, still a distributor, but it's an electronic distributor. What we have is we have a pickup in here, and this spins around and actually sends a signal to the computer, and then the computer will actually tell it when to spark or not to spark. Still a distributor, but electronic distributor. Then we went to what's called a distributorless ignition system. Now we have to look at the primary wires right here are the small wires. They're feeding the small voltage up here to an ignition module, and the coils are located right here. The only difference is it's not driven by a crankshaft or a camshaft or even an oil pump. This is going to be remotely accessed. Then what happens, it comes up here to the secondary wires, which are the fat wires. That's going to deliver the spark through our spark plug here. Now this is a great system, but what we need to do is get you back to the garage. We'll go ahead and run these tests right here on the board, and then we'll watch Brian do them. The power balance test. Now that's pretty simple. Our goal here is to take a spark away from a cylinder. If I take a spark away, in essence, we're creating a misfire. So if we're creating a misfire, that engine should shake a bit. If it shakes a bit, it was sparking in the first place. And I can do that here. Now what I have is two sets of adapters. Now this one here, we can put in on the coil pack, or you can just go to your desk drawer and get a paper clip. Works just as good. Just be careful when you're working around this. I'm going to take the paper clip, come up here, and get it into where I can actually tap into the wire of where it's going to spark. This one here, find your coil pack, nice little adapter, put it on the top. Why? Because I want to take a test light and I want the electricity to run and ground out that cylinder. Electricity's lazy. It's going to take the path of least resistance. What does that mean? Well, if I take my test light and I ground it and I touch that, I'm going to take the spark, all the electricity is going to run through the test light to ground. Hence, the spark plug's not going to fire. And I'll show you right here. If I turn this on and I come over and I touch this right here, you can see sparks going away, coming back, going away, and coming back. Come down here, the same thing. If you're on your coil pack, I'm going to touch it. You can see the spark plug right here, gone, comes back. Now that you understand how to run this power balance test, I suspect Brian's digging in deep on that Lincoln. So I'm sure curious to see what he found out, and we'll do that when we return with more Tech Garage.